21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Hi, I'm Amanda Barron Frank. I have been in your shoes as an entrepreneur and still every day working towards entrepreneurship, but I also have the benefit of assisting other entrepreneurs in search of their dreams in a legal capacity and a consulting capacity. And so I'm able to not only work towards entrepreneurship on my own, but also assist others. In entrepreneurship, typically the legal capacity is necessary in order to establish that the business a person wishes to create is set up well, and that they are legally protected in a way that could secure them from pretty much as anything, from debtors in the future to any litigation, to future business partners, just creating the entity at its core, and then dealing with all of the legal risks and security that comes with owning a business thereafter. I started my law firm with my husband 6 years ago. We were two kids, all alone, not sure if we were going to make it. We started our business with a legal pad and a wobbly kitchen table. And thank God 6 years later, we have a wonderful reputation, a solid business, and are growing with staff and locations and reputation. We also own a process serving company called NSPS Process Servers. Every document in the legal profession typically needs to be served in a correct way by a process server like you see in the movies. You've been served. And so this is a business that we've also started that helps law firms or just people who do not have a lawyer but are handling a case on their own serve these papers in accordance with the law and the statutes that govern. I think the benefit that I have seen as an entrepreneur myself, but also watching future and current entrepreneurs, is seeing that the best way to start a business is to grow slowly and strongly. So our business, we started, my husband started first, then I left my W-2 job and went and worked at the firm. And then we hired an assistant, then we hired a lawyer, and so on and so on and so on. We started in a small location, then we moved to a larger location, and we basically never bit off more than we can chew. My partner, my husband, Tommy, he does bankruptcy, foreclosure, and litigation work. And so we sort of have the benefit of seeing where others fail, or where others could have done better. And so in looking at that, in our experience and viewing others, is that never really bite off more than you can chew, right? Everyone has a dream. You go into a business having a dream, and you want to see that dream to the fullest and as quickly as possible. But it's those that grow really too big before they really start seeing the momentum is honestly those businesses that fail. And so the baby steps is really the key to growing a good business. For us, we started so small with marketing, online marketing, especially during the COVID era where marketing was so pronounced, especially online, because nobody was networking in person anymore. And then as it started working for us, we grew in the amount we were doing incrementally, and now, at a very sizable amount, because the proof and the reward was there in order for us to grow. But we didn't just say, hey, here's this large amount, let's just shoot the shot and see if it happens. We did it incrementally until we saw that it works. And so I believe that business model is growing slowly as you see the results. It's hard to have the patience, and it's hard to, and sometimes monotonous to sit there and wait for the reward. But if you put enough into it and you have enough stamina to undergo the pitfalls that come with owning a business, then you'll inevitably see that and be able to grow in time. The beauty with having a lawyer behind you when you start a business, sometimes you're just starting with scared money or very little money. And that might not be the smartest place you would think to allocate funds in the beginning. But in our opinion, it's the wisest because we have the ability to help start businesses and unfortunately dilute some businesses because we do bankruptcy and foreclosure and litigation work as well. And a lot of these businesses that we see sort of at the end or in tough times, they wish they had counsel in the beginning to sort of set them up. Litigation problems in business are unavoidable, right? They're going to happen, but they are far less if you are advised of the law and you have that legal protection from the outset. Some things we see is like partner disputes, right? Like, hey, you and me are best friends and we love each other and we're going to go into business together and we've been friends for 40 years. And then we wind up hating each other, but we went into this business on a handshake and now we're screwed because how do we divide this? What do we do? Whose debt is whose? And so that's the great part in that scenario where you have a lawyer who's like, okay, guys, well, we're not a friend for the last 40 years. We're here to make sure that we paper everything appropriately and everything is done correctly. So if things do go awry, you are protected. We have many, many companies who we are their in-house counsel, where anything that pops up, they throw us on an email and we're on there and we're there to diffuse the situation before it gets to a litigation posture where you're fighting this out in court. So there are so many ways where a lawyer involved in your business is such a useful tool. Yes, lawyers are expensive. We have a reputation for a reason. Our firm really prides itself on understanding that the cost of business is high and scary and uncertain. So we try to do a really good job. It's not always possible, but for the most part, we try to do a flat fee for a lot of our entrepreneur clients. So at least they can anticipate that fee every month. And it's not like, oh, this month we did 20 hours of work and we're getting charged for that. And this month is 5 hours. We try to keep it where regardless of the time that we are spending, the amount of money each month will stay the same. Sometimes that structure works, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on the business. But that's really one of the many, many examples where having a lawyer in your back pocket, so to speak, really helps you navigate where you can just think about growing your business and being an entrepreneur, and we take care of worrying about the risks for you and investigate the problems for you and, protect you as best as possible to navigate the road of entrepreneurship. Another great example that I would have where having a lawyer behind you is really useful is we have a client who is very young and went into business with other gentlemen. They were older. He was very excited about being young and his own boss and, very excited and capable to have the expertise of someone a bit older than him. Long story short is he was made to be the workhorse of the business and was like, this is not what I signed up for. And the structure of the business was not favorable to him. And so then we're brought in, and now you have a tough row to hoe, right? Because he signed documents that perhaps he should have had legal counsel look at, but he was sort of going into this endeavor with blinders on. I'm young, I'm going to be my own boss, I'm going to be powerful, I have the backing, of older, and it didn't work out that way. And so if he had legal counsel at the outset, just to say X, Y, and Z, and the great thing about our firm is that you can talk to us, and you can, like, the same way you're hearing me speak right now is the same way we speak to our clients. Very real, we don't forget who we are, what we've gone through, because we go through it every day also, right? Like, you'd be an idiot to think that you've somehow mastered something in this world, because nobody masters anything in this world. But getting back to that story is, now he's like, I want to have a lawyer in my pocket for any and all endeavors moving forward to avoid this happening. But it was a very costly lesson to learn that way, and go through that pain at such a young age. Thankfully, it didn't scare him into not going through entrepreneurship again and giving it another try. But for some, it might, because it's a hard thing going through litigation and fighting and the whole, a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy. So these are the things that we see. We see the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that really is why it's so good to have a lawyer at your disposal, to be able to just say, like, hey, can I do this? Because we are the people that can research it for you and say yes or no, or maybe, but these are the risks involved. And in my mind, being a lawyer or not, I believe that's an invaluable tool to have. Also, a really important part of becoming an entrepreneur is keeping up with the times and keeping up with your craft and making sure you're the best and the most knowledgeable at that time. In the US, we have to keep up with as a lawyer, our continuing legal education every year. I'm licensed in 3 states, so I have to do continuing legal education for 3 states, in New York, New Jersey, and Florida. And also, but whether you're a lawyer or not, there are videos and articles. And honestly, even if you're not a lawyer, a really good thing is you can go to a library and go on to perhaps like one of the databases that we have access to, like Lexis or one of these where it has all the cases online, and see where other entrepreneurs in your field have gone wrong and had a litigation, and walk through those pages so that you don't make those mistakes. That's really like learning and keeping ahead of your times. And honestly, networking, not feeling like you're better than the next person by picking their brains. My husband and I, we talk to colleagues all the time, and we'll pick their brains so that we're not too proud, because I'll learn something from them one day and they'll learn something from me. And you can't have this mentality that I have to keep everything close to the belt. Sure, in some cases you do, right? Not everybody has your best interest at heart. That's just the matter of being human being. But using the resources around you is a really great thing, because if you find somebody that has sort of done it, maybe not the same business or the same way, maybe a little bit unconventional, you can really learn from them and pivot and create. I'll give you a funny example. My husband was playing Monopoly on our family vacation and he created new rules in it because of all of his knowledge in bankruptcy. Stupid example, but that's how you sort of reinvent the wheel and create new ways or something new that sort of hasn't been done like that before. It's very important whether you are in business with someone or you are married to someone or dating someone, um, that you can fully trust that person and be able to lean on them through tough times and good times. I myself am partners with my husband, and many, many people tried to talk us out of it and thought it was a horrible thing. It is now 6 years later, and we could not imagine being partners with anybody else. It has strengthened our marriage, our love, our friendship, everything. We have a 4 year old, a 2 year old, and I am pregnant with our third. Life is challenging right now. It is a lot of work. There is a lot of moving parts, but we are a team, and neither one of us feels like we're picking up the tab more than the other. It's sort of this incredible balance that we have. And so our situation might be an anomaly in the sense where you're not going into business with your spouse, but at the end of the day you sort of are regardless, right? Because they're going through this journey with you, and there's going to be tough times and there's going to be great times and there's going to be moments of sorrow and there's going to be moments of happiness. And so it's just really taking stock into your spouse and communicating and perhaps making them part of the journey through entrepreneurship with you, making them feel a part of it and important and not sort of left out in the cold, if you will. But just really have that support system, because it will make it all that much sweeter and richer and better by having that stability and that, friendship behind you. There's a significant importance in work-life balance also, which is something that becoming an entrepreneur or as an entrepreneur is sort of left in the dust a lot of times and not prioritized. But what many people don't realize is it's probably the most important thing. And so for me personally, I go to acupuncture once a week. I take magnesium every single day. Um, when I wasn't pregnant, GABA, the vitamin mineral, was a huge thing for me. Helped me sleep, helped me balance cortisol, all of those things. Um, Unfortunately, I can't right now because I'm pregnant. But and then really just quality, present family time is a huge thing. No phones at dinner, really just play and act silly with our kids. These are very, very important things for my husband and I, because it's great for our kids, but also for us too, because it grounds us and keeps us, why you're doing this every day. It's very hard to lose sight of that. So these are just the little things that I do every day. And someone once said to me, and I think it's a great thing, everybody says like, be present, be present, be present. Like, what does that mean? How long do you be present, right? So if you're present for 5 minutes and then you're not for the sixth minute, you feel like a failure because it's like sort of this ambiguous term. So if you just say, I'm going to be present and play with my kids for 5 minutes, and you truly are, well, then you yourself feel accomplished. You really did give those 5 minutes to your kids, and you feel like you did something for yourself too. So I think that's like a small but very useful tool to help you build your confidence and, positivity within yourself outside of working. If you are looking to start a new business and you'd like some help, or you think that perhaps you need some legal assistance to get going, you can go on our website. It's www.frankfirmpc.com. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we also offer free consultations. We'd be happy to chat with you and see if we can help you in any way. Our number is 516-246-5577.
21st Century Entrepreneurship with Martin Piskarik.
Imagine a space where triumphs, trials, and tales of entrepreneurship come alive. Welcome to the 21st Century Entrepreneurship Podcast, a gold awarded journey hosted by Martin Piskarik, connecting with listeners in 95 countries and ranking in the top 0.5% of all podcasts. Join our exclusive community, elevate your perspective, and embark on the path to success.